Hello everybody and welcome to this episode of Awesomenauts with truly SlowWolf. Yeah, I did it backwards there, how about that? We're going to be doing another replay cast. This one is sent to us by Grimshade, also known as Lampshade in this game. And he wanted us to just check it out. I'm guessing it's a pretty good game if you wanted us to check it out. We're going to go ahead and just cast it, see what happens. On the red team, we are going to have Grimshade, Lampshade, playing the Gnaw. We're going to have Makoto Foxfire playing the Penny, and we're going to have Devmon playing Scoop. On the blue team, we have Jay Manley playing the Raylan, we have Guildstern playing a Yuri, and we have Martial Arts playing a Creeper Clunk. With that said, we're on AO Station 205. Let's see what happens. These are always fun to see because a lot of the time, there's like something to behold. Like there's something that you want to see in every match. It could be anything really. It could be maybe you're looking for builds. Maybe you're looking for skill. Maybe you're looking for playstyle. It could be anything. And in this game, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how the Penny plays, considering how I haven't had a lot of chance to see Penny play. Right now, as it stands, the Yuri is doing a fantastic job of just mining things up. He's keeping the lower lane pushed in. The upper lane is currently controlled by the red team. They are doing their best to, keep that as open as possible and continue to keep control of the jungle, where they have access to all the creeps and a lot of HP. The blue team are going to quite easily take it all apart. They have a Clunk. He can just walk up, fight a thing, send a missile. It's a done deal. Not too hard. Jay Manley's going to completely botch their snipe, so nothing's going to happen there. And yeah, this is the early game. This is how an early game works for most people. To be like, there's nothing else really here to see or to talk about. It's just how it works. We are looking for a little bit of damage, for a little bit of ganking capability here, but we haven't seen anything new really. Guildstern taking a reasonable amount. The Penny, I think, wants to go in and find something, but not going to happen. Get out a couple of claws, get her combo points back up, and outside of a little bit of burn from taking the rift to the face, she's going to be fine. That might have been a cool opportunity to go for an ambush there, but she decided against it. The Clunk going to take a full strength pulse to the face. Caught a Foxfire, trying to look for at least one combo point to do something down here. Devmon trying to get this cleared down here, so that way their turret doesn't take any more damage. It's currently slightly weaker than the blue turret on the same level. A little bit of damage coming out over here. Raylan's taking a decent amount from the Penny, but gonna be fine, gonna live. Probably gonna have to head back. No heading back. Jay Manley gonna stay out, be manly about it? I guess so. That could be a problem. Now that the red has access to the control of the jungle down here, it's not likely that Manly's going to be able to get out there and actually make good use of their snipe. It might just be a better use of their time to head home. Considering that she's got 182 solar, maybe she'll find something. On the bottom side of things, mine's still keeping it very clear for the blue team. And that much shows when you look at the turret HP, so, again, nothing super special going on out there. Clunk's going to completely miss his explode, but his lane is still pushing just fine. I guess his explode landed on the creeps, so Devmon needs to be very careful. He's taking a decent amount of damage, and he could die to the incinerator if he's not going to take it easy. But yeah, the teams are just kind of bouncing off each other right now and not doing anything else super extra. Snipe going to come out. It's not going to hit anything except the droids, but that's totally fine. Hitting the droids still means it's doing a reasonable amount of damage. This Penny, though, I was expecting a Pounce to come out. No Pounce coming out. Out comes a Pulse instead, and the damage onto this Raylan is not going to be enough to get the kill. And the Explode must have missed at some point as well, because no other damage has been taken by the red team. So right now, the red team looking like they've got a great position for the next couple of seconds. Like, Raylan is all the way back here, doing what right now? Absolutely nothing. She's looking for HP. There is no HP. She's going to go up here, she's going to snipe, it's going to hit 3 things, and then she dies to the Pulse. She stuck around way too long. She should have just teleported home. She had well, she didn't have any real solar to spend, but there wasn't really much point to sticking around. At least I think. Devmon's gonna go in here. There are flying droids. Flying droids are a pain in the ass to deal with a lot of the time because they do a lot of damage very quickly. Out comes a very well placed hammer. The mine gonna be almost enough to kill Devmon. Out comes a blast though. Oh, that's a kill right there. Good job, Penny. Penny managing to wreck this, which is pretty fantastic. Like, the Penny's now gotten 2 kills that really shouldn't have necessarily happened, but there you have it. She got them anyway. Out comes a good Pounce, sorry, and that's going to hit the Ray for quite a lot, which subsequently means that Ray is, at a half HP, which is something she needs to watch out for, like, especially against the team that she's up against. Between Scoop and his ability to kind of hit long-range targets, and Penny and her ability to kind of sneak in that damage from a distance using Pulse, it could be a problem. Also, the Gnaw. The Gnaw's like being played by Grimshade here can be a huge problem. Or at least, you know, a small... Okay, here's what I'm thinking. The Gnaw can be a problem if he's not dealt with properly, and it's difficult to deal with the Gnaw properly if you're not playing with a good team. So maybe he's just having a hard... Maybe in this case the Gnaw just has a distinct advantage because everybody else is having a difficult time dealing with his, you know, load of bullshit that he spans out. But there's one thing that Gnaw is very good at, it's littering the entire battlefield with just a bunch of debris and a bunch of shit that you have to dodge all the time. It's a pain in the ass. Down on the bottom level, we got Yuri. He's going to get pounced. He is going to die, even though a couple of things missed there. Devon going to eat a mine for, you know what, now that I think about it, for a pretty good reason. If he didn't eat the mine, then the droids would have, and then there would have been nearly as much push. This Raylan needs to learn her lesson. At this point, what's she going to do? She's going to teleport up. She's going to bounce up here, okay? She's going for it. Out comes the pulse. It's almost a kill. That could have been death. It's a good thing that she was able to kind of eyeball her own HP and realize that I'm not going to die to a pulse, but at the same time, it's a little risky. Like, I probably wouldn't have tried that out. That was a little too close for at least my level of comfort. But then again, if you've been watching this channel for long enough, you know that my level of comfort is actually quite low. Out comes the bindings from Scoop, but the Scoop is not going to quite land them on the Clunk. Now it's this Foxy's turn to feel a little bit of pain. Down she goes. Jay Manley managed to pick up the kill at very low HP. At this point, Raylan is not going to teleport home. She's going to go upstairs, where the Gnaw has had kind of a foothold for the last little while, with very little competition, honestly. Out comes a bunch of damage. The Yuri is just going to eat it, because apparently going toe-to-toe with a Gnaw as a Yuri makes perfect sense. I would not necessarily say that, but let's see. Maybe with the items that he's got, let's see. The Yuri's managed to go for double regen to deal with the Gnaw and his stuff, and he's also managed to pick up the cooldown reduction on his mines. So he's going for a very mine-centric build, coupled with a couple of extra bonuses. Out comes the Explode. It's not going to be enough to save anybody. Really good pounds coming out of the Penny, managing to secure the kill on the Yuri. And Devmon's still down here, doing his thing, surviving, doing what Scoop does, just being a general nuisance and making sure that he soaks up a lot of cooldowns, he soaks up a lot of damage. On the upside, though, and by upside I mean on the upper level, like, they managed to take out a turret. Yeah, sure, the Clunk managed to get a kill, but at what cost? He ended up dying too, and to what exactly, I don't know. Foxy. Died to Foxy. I should have been immediately on to Foxy, my bad. So, as things are starting to shape up here, the red team has a pretty significant advantage. Level 6 to level 4. Foxy trying to find a kill on the backside, but everyone on the blue team managed to back off very intelligently. So that was good. And Yuri gonna get pounced. Not gonna try to come in. Eats a mine instead. Guildstern should be in a pretty good spot now to be able to just take it easy, sit back, defend, make sure the lane stays clear, and not get killed. He can't really get out of his turret though. If he tries, he'll probably get scooped and killed. In comes the Explode. The Explode is going to miss. Gets pounced, gets bindings, gets cut to pieces. Down goes the Clunk. A really good counterplay out of the Fox and the Scoop. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, if you see it coming, if you know it's coming, then Clunk Explode from above can just, you know, it doesn't really do much. But if the Clunk Explode from above is a surprise, it can do a lot of damage. It's just, in that case, that was not what happened. And instead, they paid a pretty steep price. Oh, wow, this Raylan just ate everything Gnaw had to offer, and then immediately got pounced and killed. So, that was unfortunate for them. Now we've got the entirety of the red team with a very strong power play right now. That's going to be a wow, a 3-person wipe all told. Well played by the Fox. Managed to put out a pulse, forcing the Yuri into the Scoop's waiting arms, which then meant that, you know, he died. That was good. Now it's just the Clunk against these three, and if he gets caught out again, that's going to be a really easy kill. So right now he needs to take it easy, sit back, use his left click. It'll be a little bit difficult to do that, especially when your attitude is, I want to do something, and your Clunk, you have the ability to explode, but you explode, it missed, and Penny wants to give chase. Out comes the left clicks, enough left clicks, and one pulse are able to take him out. So martial arts goes down, and there is still a power play going on for the red team. However, they do have a pretty high amount of solar that they need to spend. Like, Penny's got 600 that has yet to be spent. So, there's something to be said for that. Now has used all of it, so she's now quite a bit more powerful than she was just a second ago. That's going to be a little bit terrifying. But there was a long period of time there where the blue team was just always a man down, and that led to a lot of really good kills. The Yuri is now in a bad spot. He needs to run away. It's going to be very difficult, though, because the Penny can practically keep up with him all the time. He's going to try dropping using the drop juke, and it is mildly successful. The hammer is enough, however, to catch him just on the tip, and that did not do it quite on its own. The rest of the team needed to be there a little bit more, or at least couldn't catch up in time, and Yuri managed to get away. Now, Penny's going to go in. Out comes the Pulse. The Pounce, then the Pulse. Now, a lot of damage. Snipe going to hit the Penny. People need to be a little bit more careful if they don't want to die. The Penny's still okay, but quite low HP. Blue team managed to get away, at least, with the exception of Clunk. It's still a 1-for-0 pickoff, but all things considered, it's not as good as it could have been. Like, it could have been a little bit scarier had the Penny managed to not get sniped there. Now, this was a really easy pickoff. That was something that I don't think the Yuri should have even thought about doing. Got pounced, got spat on, got snared, like everything went badly there. So that was kind of all on the Yuri, I think. It wasn't anything else to really do with anybody else. Because the bindings, a little bit of extra damage onto the Clunk. Now Raylan's coming in. Out comes the Pounce. It's going to knock J Manly back. Manly's now going to try to go home. It is going to succeed in doing that. The bouncer juke, easy to pull off, and very, very effective at what it does. Like, using the bouncer juke can be an incredibly effective means of staying safe. Yuri just doing his best to defend. J Manly going to take a lot of damage off of eating a spit and some other stuff. Now Devman going to take some damage out of the mines. Guildsturn looking to at least get them off the base, get them off of important objectives like turrets and out of the way of solar, and like at least relieve the pressure of at least relieve the pressure that the red team's putting on. Now, not only do they have a lot of pressure that they're putting on, but they're about to spend even more money. This scoop has 700 solar to spend. That's an obscene amount. On top of the 4-level, just barely 3-level difference very soon. It's a scary moment to be the blue team. Like, there is a lot going wrong for them, and I think the only way they could really come out of this is with Clunk. Now, that depends on what Clunk's managed to buy. He's got 1 rank in the explode damage, and he's starting to go for the burst boost. Oh wow, Yuri taking a lot of damage. He needs to be careful. He manages to dodge the pulse, which is quite good. Now, this would have been a good opportunity once they had just overextended for the Clunk to just come in. And in comes the explode. It's gonna miss. He's gonna bounce right back out of there, and the fight continues. The red team is about half, but the same could be said for the blue team, and it's gonna be enough. Devman gonna be able to manage to get the kill. He's just barely looking like he's gonna survive right now. So that's a 1-for-0 pickoff, no problem. Now it's Clunk's turn to take a bunch of damage. He's going to eat a spit, he's going to eat a Wheedling placement bomb, and then that's going to be that. Gilster now taking a ton of damage off of this Penny. This is not a good matchup for Yuri whatsoever. He hates Penny. Penny can practically fly as high as he can and does a reasonable amount of damage, has access to silence. On top of that, her left click knocks him down. So, lots of bad things for the Yuri to have to deal with. In comes the explode. It's going to be enough to hit, but Clunk's now going to need to get out of there. In comes a good hammer. The binding's going to do a lot of damage. The pulse going to manage to send J Manly back home. Martial arts needs to stay here and at least send out his left click. He did, tech into it a little bit. He should be trying to use it at least a tiny bit. Now, this Yuri needs to be careful. He's in a bad spot. Just because if the Penny was hiding, like say around here, that could have been an easy death. Now let's look at kills and deaths right now. Scoop and Penny managing to set it to 1 each. Nah, just kind of going 0-0. That's okay. All he needs to do is spit. This Penny's doing a lot of damage onto this Clunk. This Clunk's trying to get away. It's not going to be enough as the droid manages to pick up a kill. Surprisingly enough, I was not expecting that. Devman now going in trying to kill this Yuri. It's going to be a good, clean kill, almost, but J Manly said otherwise. Manages to pull out the snipe, and that's going to be a 2-for-1. That is still a very good thing for the red team. They've managed to make it so that way there are 2 people to the only 1 defender for the blue team. The reason why that's particularly strong in this game compared to, say, just a normal pickoff is because now that they had the numerical advantage for a couple of seconds, they were able to split push incredibly easily. They were getting guaranteed turret damage. Like, look at this. Now that there's only 1 real defender who's able to do anything, because J Manly's still trying to get back into the fight, Penny was able to do a reasonable amount of damage to that turret. And that's pretty much what happened there. Despite the, return pickoff, the 2-for-1 is still something, at least. Now here comes the Pounce, the Pulse, and that's a death. Now Guild's turn, taking quite a lot of damage. Scoop is going to manage to be able to help get a kill. Penny going to pick it up. Couple combo points, nothing else really going to happen. They're going to back off from the turret. Now it's 3 versus 1. Now we're going to see this happen one more time. This bottom turret is going to take a little bit of damage if they decide to split push it. If they decide not to, okay, where's this knock? Come on, no, we gotta get into this. Now they're doing damage up here. This bottom turret's going to continue to take damage over time. Wow, a very good bounce explode out of martial arts. That was well played, but it's not quite enough on its own. Out comes the time rift, out comes the snipe, and that is a pick off. That could have been a triple kill if that had just been a little bit luckier. And now the Raylan wants blood. She smells it. She smells it all kinds of thickly in the air, and she's not going to be able to get it. Unfortunately, the snipe is just a little bit too slow. That was very, very close to being what could have been a game-turning moment. If they had managed to pick up that triple kill, that would have been all it would have taken to win. Unfortunately, J Manly now taking all the damage. She is going to get a kill before she goes out, though, and now it's just Devmon against these two. So now the reverse is true. This bottom lane is going to probably get pushed in for the blue team, and that's going to alleviate a reasonable amount of pressure. Now the blue team is going to need to stay incredibly safe here. They're still behind 3 levels. Just barely, but they're behind 3 levels. Oh, here comes the explode, but it's just not going to hit. Unfortunately, we've got Yuri now trying to run away from the Penny, but that's not going to turn out super well for him, I don't think, unless if the Penny plays badly. The Pulse not going to hit very hard. So this Yuri is still very much okay. He's got a lot of mines. He's pretty safe, actually. Another mine going to come out and hit the Penny. Guildstern playing for his life right now. Out comes the explode. A very good left click coming out of the Clunk. And the Clunk is going to die for it. Very likely. See? 3, 2, 1. He's just barely going to die. Yep, there we are. A very well played Olay coming out of Grimshade. However, this game is starting to feel like it's turning just a tiny, tiny bit. It's looking a little bad. Although I could be speaking out of my butt right now. Guildstern needs to run away. Cannot run away fast enough from this Penny, I think, to save his own life. Unless, yeah, he's going to be okay. He's just going to barely make it out of there. It feels like Penny had a missed opportunity. Now, Penny needs to be a little bit careful. Manages to take that stuff out. Takes a bunch of extra damage off of some Raylan shots. And past that, that's all she wrote. So, still 3-level advantage for the red team. The kill stats are pretty much what you'd expect. 7-2, 6-3, and 3-1. For 4-6, 2-6, and 0-7. Oh, damage. That's going to be a missed bindings. A well-hit bite. They're going to keep Clunk at least a little bit in this game. Raylan trying to go for some reasonable damage here. Going to get pounced instead. Raylan's going to need to leave. No left click. Means no pulse. Means Penny's just going to have to, take it easy for now. Yuri, on the other hand, is kind of in a rough spot. Isn't really doing much here other than sort of pushing. He's trying his best to do a little bit of damage up here, but it's not gonna win the game or anything. This is where you win the game. In comes the snipe. The snipe is gonna miss. The time rift is not gonna last long enough to keep them all locked up. In comes a good bindings, a good pulse. That's gonna be the end of that. Now it's a 3v1. The Yuri was not in the right spot. Look, this turret is still up. This turret is still up. What a defense this turret is managing to put up. Huh? Look at it. It's going to go down now. But would you look at your base? So the Yuri seemingly gave up here. Now decides to head on back home. But it's already way too late. There's a massive push at their core. That was where the Yuri needed to be. This bit right here. This defense, that bit with the time rift and everything else would have been amazing if there had been a couple more mines, if there had been some lasers, if there had been a time bubble, anything. That could have been an easy double kill on some of the most important people on the team, Devman and Makoto of Foxfire, but no dice. So there you have it. That's Replaycast. Red team victorious over the blue team. As one could expect if someone's going to submit a replay for me to cast. This was a good way for me to get some practice. I feel like I have been neglecting my casting skills a great deal over the past couple of months, which happens when you can't play games. So this was good. If you guys want to send me any of your replays for me to cast and eventually get better, please send them to me in my email, slowwolfgame@gmail.com, which, it should be pretty self-explanatory, slowwolfgame@gmail.com. And I'll take a look at them and cast them, which means more content for my channel, which means you get to have your game cast, which means you can go ahead and show off to your friends that way. So thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. I know I sure did. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.